हेलो दोस्तों, केजी क्लासेस में आपका स्वागत है। आज हम आपको लाइफ ऑफ विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ 1770 टू 1850 बर्थ एंड पेरेंटेज। विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ was born on the 7th of April 1770 at Cockermouth on the Derwent in Cumberland. His father John Wordsworth was an attorney at Cockermouth and an agent to Sir James Lowther. Afterwards, the first Earl of Lansdale, his mother Anne Coxon was the only daughter of William Coxon, a well-to-do mercer at Penrith, and of Dorothy Crackenthorpe, whose ancestor had been Lord of the Major of Newbiggin near Penrith, so Wordsworth came to gentle kin. He was the second of 5 children of his parents, the authors being Richard, Dorothy, John and Christopher. His childhood. As a child, Wordsworth was of a stiff body, moody and violent temper. Therefore, his mother was always worried about him, thinking that he would be remarkable either for good or for evil. Two incidents of his childhood are noteworthy. Some dignity having been once put upon him, he thought of taking his own life, but his heart failed him in the last moment. On another occasion, when he was whipping tops with his brother Richard in his grandfather's drawing room, he struck his whip through a hanging family picture. When he asked his brother whatever he could dare to do so, he showed his want of boldness by refusing to do so. Wordsworth was no doubt punished for it, but as he writes, from some want of judgment and punishment inflicted, he had become perverse and obstinate in defying chastisement and rather proud of it than otherwise. Education at Hawkshead. In 1778, Wordsworth and his brother Richard were sent to the grammar school at Hawkshead. There was no strict discipline here, therefore Wordsworth had the opportunity of enjoying a happy life here. He was allowed to read whatever books he liked. Wordsworth himself remarks, "Of my earliest days at school I have little to say, but that they were happy ones, chiefly because I was left at liberty then and in the vacation to read whatever books I liked. For example, I read all Field's work, Donne, Quetzalcoatl, Gil Blas, and any part of Swift that I liked. Gulliver's Travel and The Tale of a Tub being both much to my taste." Education at Cambridge. In October 1787, Wordsworth went up as an undergraduate to St. John's College, Cambridge. Here he showed himself as an ordinary student who often neglected regular academical course, perhaps because he considered it as narrow. He disliked the petty restriction of university life and felt like a fall of the air, ill-tutored for captivity. That he did not like the university atmosphere is evident from the following lines. The vacation. Wordsworth spent his first summer vacation at Hawkshead. He felt a new sympathy for the old dame, in whose house he still lodged here. After a night spent in dancing, he was deeply moved by a splendid sunrise, stay in London, and a visit to France. After taking his BA degree, Wordsworth went to live for some time with his uncle William Coxon at Fonchet near Norwich. His uncle presented him for a career, but Wordsworth had no fixed aim. He went to London, where he idled 3 months. This visit introduced human sympathies into his thoughts of nature and made him recognize the unity of man. Neither the vigorous activity of landowners nor their ceaseless pursuit of pleasure could lure him away from his peculiar ways of time. Passing the time in London, he had only a few acquaintances. However, this period in London was not quite unproductive. Here he composed 3 sonnets and such tender poems as The Reverie of Poor Susan. Periods of disillusionment. When in 1792 Wordsworth returned to Paris, he was in a mood of joining the revolutionary activity, but his intentions were nipped in the bud when his guardian in England cut off his allowances. He was compelled to return to England, and the next few years were a period of disillusionment and disappointment for him. But his discontent became a great factor in his beginning and author. Early in 1793 appeared his poem An Evening Walk and descriptive sketches, in which Coleridge saw the pronounced emergence of an original poetical genius. Though they were received by the public coldly at this time, Wordsworth was filled with remorse on account of his desertion of Annecy. Besides, the violent course of events in France rudely shattered his dreams of a new world of liberty, equality, and fraternity. War broke out between France and England, dividing his loyalties in the most agonizing way. Settled life in Reston. In 1795, Wordsworth fortunately received a legacy of 900 left for him by his friend and admirer Wesley Calvert, who was the brother of William Calvert, an old school fellow of Wordsworth. He had been nursed by Wordsworth in his illness. He died of consumption in 1795, leaving 500 to Wordsworth. This timely gift saved Wordsworth from a lot of worries, and he now thought of setting for a while. So he came to rest down in the southeast of Somersetshire to live with his sister. Here he remained till July 1797. Stay at Alfoxden. In 1797, Wordsworth, along with Dorothy, moved to Alfoxden to be near to Coleridge, who was living with his wife and Nether Stowaway. Wordsworth had an intimate affection with Coleridge. In fact, Wordsworth, Dorothy, and Coleridge were known as three persons and one soul. Helen Derbyshire gives an account of the intimacy between Wordsworth and Coleridge. Coleridge, with his eager, valuable enthusiasm, his genius for philosophical speculation, his sensitive, receptive mind offered Wordsworth for the first time an intellectual companionship that answered his needs. Wordsworth, with his deeper hold upon experience, his studious mind and cerebral balance of intellect and emotion, inspired in Coleridge an admiration such as he had felt for no other man. Stay in Germany. In the income which came from the sale of lyrical ballads enabled Wordsworth to undertake a tour to Germany with Coleridge and Dorothy. Wordsworth liked to stay at Goslar, whereas Coleridge moved to Ritzburg on account of severe cold. Wordsworth remained confined to his lodging, but he devoted his time in learning German language from books and dictionaries. Here Wordsworth wrote some of his best poems like Ruth, Nutting, the Poet's Epitaph, and the Lucy poems. His married and settled life. In December 1799, Wordsworth came to the settle with Dorothy at Dove Cottage, Townsend, Grasmere. This period is the most fruitful period of his life. He enjoyed the company of devoted friends and sought pleasure in the lovely forms of nature. And above all, he lived in highly joyous and fierce. In October 1802, Wordsworth married Mary Hutchinson, who proved to be a devoted wife and companion to Wordsworth, according to Myers. This marriage was the crowning stroke of Wordsworth's felicity, the poetic recompense of his steady advocacy of all simple and noble things. Wordsworth was lucky in having a wife who, if not possessed of the remarkable accomplishment and insight into the beauties of nature and possessed by Dorothy, had yet qualities which were calculated to make her home happy. The last period, early in 1813, Wordsworth moved to another place called Rydal Mount, his favorite and last abode. Here he fortunately enjoyed the company of such illustrious friends as Southey, Coleridge, and De Quincey, as turning was his passion. He undertook tours to Switzerland and Italy in the company of Dorothy, his wife, and a few friends. His tours included Holland, North Wales, Belgium, and Scotland. But he suffered a number of misfortunes as well. His sister Dorothy fell seriously ill in 1832 and became a permanent invalid. Coleridge died in 1847, and soon after his sister-in-law Sarah Hutchinson, and in 1857 his daughter Dora died. All these calamities cast a veil of gloom on the poet's decaying physical powers, with the result that he succumbed to slavery in 1850. He was buried in the Grasmere churchyard. Thanks.